So here's a story of how the absolute worst 3PL warehouse company, Shipbob, lost me over $5,600. Hey, what's up guys, Neve here, and back in 2020, I started a brand new project to try and prove that it was still possible to start and grow a profitable Amazon business in 2021 and going forward into the future. Unfortunately, back around that time, Amazon implemented a new rule to only allow 200 units into any Amazon warehouses until you had some more sales history to be able to increase those limits. So basically, that meant we had to pivot and change the strategy, and essentially meant we needed to have a third-party warehouse company, so I started to do my research. I heard about tons of different warehouses, read reviews, watched videos online, literally scoured the internet, and after I did that, I settled on Shipbob. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm also filming this video, to share with you the 4-part story of how Shipbob lost me over $5,600 and why you should avoid ever using this company yourself. One of the main reasons that I chose to go with Shipbob in the first place was because it provided like a digitalized solution to being able to track all the inventory, have everything done online. It was kind of basically like the modern 3PL warehousing company. That's really what sold me on this whole thing. I thought that with all that stuff being set up, it was gonna be super easy. I won't need to talk to many people. I can get everything done myself and have everything in one place in my account. And another reason why I chose to work with Shipbob was because they had a literal inventory transfer option where it inventory transfers straight to FBA. So they have experience with it. They know that they need to label it. They need to do a whole bunch of stuff that way. And you have, again, you input all the information in the system and then they ship off your inventory. Sounds really simple and really good, right? I thought the same thing. Obviously, I was wrong. After speaking with support just to make sure that I'm doing the whole process correctly, they told me that first you create this inventory transfer. And then when they receive your inventory transfer, you tell them how many units, all that kind of stuff. And then they come back to you. They give you the box dimensions, the weights, and basically, all the information that you need to create your FBA shipment labels. And then you send back your labels to them. They place them on and then they ship them out. Like if you've shipped Amazon inventory to Amazon, you know exactly what this process is like with your manufacturer. Essentially, it's the same thing, but through a software system, and you do it with Shipbob, in the US. So I followed their instructions exactly. I created this inventory transfer, FBA inventory transfer thing. And I told them I want a work order, right, for 100 units in 3 separate boxes. 3 boxes of 100 units. Basically, because the product's really small, I was able to get that accomplished. And that's basically the way I was shipping them out from China anyways. So that's what I wanted them to do for me. Shortly after I placed this work order, I got an email saying that there was 50 units in 6 boxes being shipped out for a total of 300 units, so the same amount, but they were in boxes of 50. Now that's obviously gonna be a problem because I told Amazon that I'm gonna have 3 boxes of 100 units, not 6 boxes of 50 units, which would change the whole receiving process for Amazon. Obviously, right away, I contacted Shipbob, told them, hey guys, this is wrong. Can you please make it 100 units in 3 boxes? Because that's what Amazon is expecting, not the other way around. They said, no problem. I'll put a thing up here you can see from support. He said, no worries. They're gonna get rid of that and they're gonna take care of it. And they're going to make sure that it's 100 units in 3 boxes instead. After that, he assured me there was nothing for me left to do. They have to package it up, which is, normal. They got to package it up. And then after that, I'll have the notification for them and I'll have to send them the FBA labels right after they do this so then they can label them off and send them to Amazon, right? So I needed to create this, but before I created these labels, I needed to know the weights and the box dimensions. Everything was good. I was just chilling, and 3 days later, I got a notification. I thought it was a notification to tell them about the FBA labels, but actually it was a shipment confirmed notification, meaning that they shipped 300 units 50 units per box in 6 boxes. And obviously, as you can probably imagine, I was very confused because there's no FBA labels on these and they're going to the FBA warehouse. And they were in the wrong configurations on top of that also. This meant that I had about $4,000 going into the Amazon warehouse with no FBA box labels on them and no way to tie those products to myself unless you actually looked at the FN SKU, which luckily was already printed on the products. But if you know how Amazon works, if the box labels aren't there, they have no idea who it is. They're not really gonna start opening the boxes and looking through the stuff. The box label needs to be there, they scan that, and then they start to receive the inventory. After getting that email, I instantly reached out to support and I told them, what the hell is going on? They said, oh, we have no idea what happened. Something went wrong, but we're gonna, escalate this and we'll get back to you very soon. To their credit, I think it was about 12 hours or so later, I got an email from upper level support saying they were so sorry that this happened. This has never happened before in the past, whatever amount of time, and that this must have been a glitch. there was a glitch. Luckily, it happened to me, and this glitch caused the inventory to be pushed through even without the proper FBA labels on it. And their whole solution to the thing was to just get me to call Amazon and tell them to refuse the inventory and ship it back to them, and that they would cover the cost for that. But if you know how Amazon works, like, it's not like it's somebody just accepting the packages. There is literally, I don't know, hundreds of, thousands, tens of thousands of packages that arrive every single day, boxes and all that kind of stuff with different labels and just literally everything. And especially if you don't have labels on it, there's no one who's gonna, there's no way for them to do this. And also during this time, Amazon was really flooded with a lot of different, packages. So they were actually leaving all their inventory at the docks, not actually checking in right away. They were leaving it at the docks and then checking it in afterwards. So I called Amazon. I told them, hey guys, you need to just know that my 3PL warehouse messed up. There's inventory coming without FBA shipment labels. And they said, hey, we can't really do anything about this. When we get it, we'll figure it out and go from there. Later on, I was tracking this delivery and eventually it just said basically that the inventory was delivered at dock, which meant that they just left it there, which is what they do. I called Amazon, tried to open up an internal investigation. We did that, but there was no luck for a long time. Went back and forth with Shipbob to explain to them what the fuck, you guys literally just messed up a huge, massive amount of my inventory, and I had inventory forecasted in a way that these 300 units were going to allow me to have the inventory to wait, to hold off until the inventory from China got in. So basically they caused a giant and total shit show there, and they were literally no help. They didn't call the shipping company. I had to do that. They didn't call Amazon. I had to do that. They didn't figure anything out. I was literally the one stuck in the middle, just calling the shipping company, calling Amazon, calling Shipbob, and trying to figure out where the fuck my inventory is and what I'm supposed to do from here. Needless to say, Shipbob did absolutely fucking nothing. And luckily, after about 1 month, Amazon's internal investigation was able to find the inventory and stock it up for me. The compensation I received from Shipbob for losing $4,000 worth of inventory and also delaying, whole inventory forecasting, which lost me, hundreds of dollars per day in profits because I didn't have the inventory. I went out of stock because they couldn't find this inventory. They refunded me $56.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And after that colossal fuck up, I obviously started to think about, hey, maybe I really messed up here with the Shipbob thing. I need to probably go to a different warehouse because, this is just crazy. But then I started, to think about the saying. I don't know where it came from, but I just remember this for some reason. It was basically what do you do with an employee that just lost you, for example, $1 million, right? It's not the case with me, but the saying goes, if an employee loses you $1 million, do you fire that employee? Thing goes no, you don't, because you just spent $1 million training that employee to never make that mistake again. So why would you ever fire that employee, which, where you just spent $1 million training them to never have that happen again? And that's basically the thought process I went with. I said, you know what? Maybe they really messed up with me here. This was a glitch, like they said, really not going to happen again. And hopefully now I'm going to be more on edge with them and they're going to take more care of my account and this problems will never happen again. And that actually was my next mistake. So I trusted Shipbob again and I sent in more inventory of a different product to their warehouses because again, I thought that they had learned their lesson. And the next incident happened when I realized the exorbitant fees that were being charged by Shipbob for storing my inventory for me. After I saw, that they were charging me literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month for a product that was, not so big in general, I started to second guess and start to think hey, if I'm storing this inventory here, it's every month eating away at my profits in a significant way. The best way I could almost compare it to is being charged long-term storage fees at Amazon's warehouses, but for every single month at all times. At that same time, I also realized that Shipbob couldn't do basic work orders. And I mean really, really simple. All I wanted to do was take out one of the insert cards I had in my products. Essentially I had a promotion running for launch and I no longer wanted to offer it because the product was doing well, and it was actually costing us more than I had thought. So more people were taking us up on that offer, and so I wanted to remove them from the actual products. Literally just an insert card. I sent them emails. I showed them everything. I explained everything literally like to a dummy, like as if you're explaining it to like a 5-year-old kid. And the way their work orders are set up is that they're literally not even able to do something as simple as taking out a pamphlet from a product, from a unit, and disposing of it. Like, I'm not saying I'm trying to reorganize things or move half something into a different package or any of that kind of stuff. Literally just taking a pamphlet out and then throwing it in the garbage. It was not something that they were able to do. I talked to them, I explained to them, and they sounded so incompetent. Like there was some backwards way to do this. But it's, talking to support, it sounded so sketchy. And I was just worried about my inventory being like disposed of or something going wrong in this work order, and then me just being shit out of luck for like 800 units and like $10,000 worth of inventory. So I decided not to do it that way. And that's, when everything kind of compiled, right? I saw it was expensive, every single month. They were pretty incompetent. They couldn't do basic work orders. There was almost no level of support or accountability. And I said, you know what? Fuck this, right? I'm going to go and I'm going to find another warehousing company because I need these promotional pamphlets out of the boxes because, again, it was costing us too much. So I found another warehousing company and I was going to get everything shipped out to that one. So I thought, my problems were gone. I'm going to pay for the shipping, get my 800 units from Shipbob to the new warehouse in Florida, and get those pamphlets out, get everything going, and I'll just use that warehousing company from now on, and my problems with Shipbob will be in the past. But it obviously wasn't that easy. What ended up happening was that when I created this order for Shipbob to actually ship out my inventory to the warehouse in Florida, they asked me a whole bunch of questions. Like I answered the questions, I filled out the labels, I basically had everything set up on their software, right? The software that they have, this amazing digitalized software that they have. And I was going forward with all this stuff and basically was going to wait for some sort of quote from them to know like how much this is going to cost me. It was 800 units. Again, the units weren't very big at all and weren't very heavy, but I wanted to know obviously a quote. You wait for a quote when you ask for shipping stuff, we get a quote, right? Usually that's how it works. And it turns out, I learned this the hard way, that they don't actually quote you for any inventory transfers like that. The only way to know how much you're going to pay is to provide the shipping labels yourself. But the whole point of this thing was, I didn't want to provide shipping labels, go figure everything out. Like the whole point of a warehousing company is to help you, send inventory around the country or wherever you need it, right? So I left it up to them. And again, I was expecting a quote, but what I got instead was an invoice for $3,100 to be paid immediately. The next day I called them to be like, hey, that's crazy amount of money to pay for the units to go from Texas to Florida, because it cost me literally less than that, like much less than that, to get them from China to the US, which, as you guys know, the shipping costs are exorbitantly high now and were even when I was doing this. And so they basically told me there's nothing they can do at this point because the inventory has already been shipped. Obviously, I got in contact with higher level support and just told them, guys, this is kind of ridiculous to expect people to just pay $3,100 out of nowhere. Like, if I knew that it was going to cost this much to move it from Texas to Florida, I would never have moved it, right? The promotional cost would have been cheaper than that, right? I would have left the pamphlet in and left it at the warehouse and just dealt with that there. But to pay $3,100 just to move it to Texas, that's crazy. I even asked them, like, okay, what if for whatever reason the inventory costs $20,000, $50,000, right? Like whatever the costs are, right? What if it was $20,000? And they said, if it was $20,000, you'd have to pay $20,000. And that they do not quote, they never do, they never did, and that's how their process is. You just pay whatever they get charged. They even told me that there was one person, like almost that they were like trying to convince me that this is okay. Like they're like, there was one person who was charged $100,000. I'll try to find the email. $100,000 to ship the inventory. Maybe it was over a call, I don't remember. But $100,000, and they had to pay it. And there's no way to know how much it's going to be in advance. It was just the way that it is. And like I mentioned, you have to realize the shipping cost from China to Texas was significantly cheaper than what they charged me to get it to Florida from Texas. So I was, completely blown away. I scheduled a call with a, level support because I wanted to talk to them, not by email. We scheduled a call for 3 p.m. Eastern time. 3 p.m. came and went. I had no call. I thought, I don't know what's happening. At 5:30, they called me. And, it's not a big deal, whatever, 2.5 hours. It's just a call. but it just speaks to the lack of professionalism and the lack of like really care for their customers and really what's going on there. When I had switched over to my new 3PL warehousing company, they had given me very strict instructions of how to label the stuff. It needed to have my name in a certain place. It also needed to have my account number so that they could keep track of whose inventories is whose. And when I went in to Shipbob to create the labels, when they were going to be sent over to the new warehouse, I had put everything in the exact way with the exact things that the new warehousing company needed to make sure that they could receive the inventory effectively. And here is the email put up there where the new warehousing company told me that if this is done incorrectly, it would cost $30 per box for them to receive the inventory. So what does Shipbob do? I mean, at this point, you're probably not even surprised, but they mislabeled the labels going into the new warehouse, which meant that technically I now owed at this point my new warehousing company $1,200.
Great job, Shipbob.
Because it was $30 times 40 boxes that we got shipped out, which was, like I said, $1,200 more that I was needing to pay to my new warehousing company. Now, obviously, I spoke with the warehousing company, and luckily I know the person who runs and owns it, so I was able to explain to them that Shipbob really fucked this up again, as they did many of the things like you saw in this video. And they were generous and nice enough to waive the fees for me. They only charged me for one box, so they charged me $30 to accept all the inventory. Otherwise, this would have cost me $1,200. And again, I think that maybe if I didn't know the owner, then I'd probably be completely fucked there as well. And after messaging Shipbob support to just ask them how this was even possible to happen again, they basically told me, as you can see from the email there, that it was essentially my fault, that I had not filled out the labels properly, even though, as you can see, even from their screenshot, you can see that my name and my account number is at the top. It's the first line, and I'm going to put up the box label that actually was sent into the new warehouse, and you can see there is no top, first line. They didn't add that to the box label, and that's where the problem arose. And before we actually end the video, there was an update with Shipbob. I actually emailed them after this whole stuff and was telling them this was completely unacceptable. They told me, hey, there's really nothing we can do about this. This is the way that the policies are, and you owe the money, and blah, 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 and this is how it is. So after I told them, I thought about it and I said, you know what, like, I've been promoting this company in the past. I've told my students and stuff like that to use them because I've been using them. And at first it was fine, but obviously now you can see that there's a lot of problems with that. And I told them, listen, I'm going to actually, be filming a video for my audience on YouTube, for my Facebook groups, for my students, and for my email list, and kind of spreading the message of what I really feel and my experiences with the company. And I just wanted to let them know that, just, for them to know. And all of a sudden they changed their tune to went from, sorry, can't help you there, you owe the money, that's the way that it is, pay up, right? To, after more consideration, we've talked to management and all this kind of stuff, and we'd be willing to negotiate the rates that you were charged, and we want to make sure that your experience was good, and we really want to make this up, to you, right? And it's funny because before I mentioned anything about making a video, sharing my experiences, or even that I had an audience on YouTube, they treated me like complete garbage, right? But as soon as these companies see that you have even a small audience like we do here, like not a lot of people, but we do have an audience, and on Facebook as well, and the students and stuff, and right away the tone completely changes, and they want to make up for all the problems that were caused with the business. So that's just sad, unfortunate reality, right? Like, I didn't take them up on the offer. I told them to basically fuck off, and that I pay their I paid their costs, and then they can fuck off. I never want to deal with their company again. And again, I suggest that none of you guys do either. So there it is, guys. If you're looking for a 3PL warehousing company to either store your inventory or to fulfill your orders for you, please look elsewhere. If at the very worst, this video just got you to learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make these as well, well then, all the money that I lost in Shipbob, all the time, all the energy, all the stress, all the lost, potential profits and earnings that I could have had if I had inventory done properly. Hopefully if all this does is show you and allows you to learn from my mistakes, well then, maybe all my effort, all my time, and everything that I did there wasn't in vain. And I hope that you're able to find an amazing 3PL warehousing company that can do everything that you need for you. for a good price, and that you don't have any problems like I did. If you found this video valuable or you learned literally anything, leave a like. It really helps the channel out, and also helps with the algorithm, gets us out to more people so that they're able to avoid this horrible company and avoid making the same mistakes that I did. Thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.